Mary, great to have you on 13th and Park. I don't know where you are right now, but I love your background. Every time I see you, the visual is like perfect.
Well, you try to figure out how to have the right background and visuals when you're on these Zoom exchanges, but it's great to see you, Adam, and thank you. I am such a fan of your show. I tell you, what an amazing audience you have, and
Thank you.
congratulations on the success of your show. And to answer your question, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, here for the Republican National Convention, and it's an exciting time in Milwaukee right now.
A lot of people don't know this about you, Mary. You have a very good friendship with President Trump.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Where did that start? And how special is it that you've been asked once again to play a pivotal role in an historic event like this?
Well, thank you for the question. And I tell you, never in a million years would I have thought that this little small town girl from Oklahoma would be gifted with a life that would have such intimacy and proximity to not only President Trump, but four consecutive presidents,
Right.
coming from the White House as a staffer to now performing as a professional artist for four consecutive presidents. And my first real interface with President Trump was actually in 2016 for the
Wow.
inauguration when he was inaugurated, and I was invited to come and perform my first time performing for President Trump during his inauguration victory celebration, and that started our beautiful friendship and certainly from my standpoint respect and admiration for both the candidate and then the commander in chief. And I tell you, it's almost spanning close to 10 years of performing for President Trump, from 2016 inauguration to his reelection kickoff rally in 2019, which was his largest to date in Florida, the 2020 Republican National Convention, years at the house in Mar-a-Lago performing
Right.
and fundraisers and all types of things. And then here we are today, 2024, here in Wisconsin for the Republican convention. So I'm very humbled. I'm very grateful. I have tremendous respect for President Trump and certainly believe that he is the right leader for our country.
Now, just to let our audience in, when you're talking about performing, you're talking about singing the national anthem, right? And
Yes, sir.
I remember the first time I started to Google search Mary Millben because I wanted to see if the reviews I was hearing matched the
Oh, gosh.
reality of what
Oh,
I was
gosh.
seeing. And wow, I'm no exaggeration. It was like so spellbinding what you do with the power of the national anthem that goes well beyond the lyrics and well beyond the music. You
Bless
give a
you.
sense of rise to everybody that hears this as you go into another performance of the national anthem on the key night, right? You're talking about Thursday night. Do you think this is going to be different than other times you've been, not just with President Trump, but with other presidents of the United States because of what has happened over the last couple of days?
Yes, it will. And thank you for your kind words. It's very kind of you. Whenever I says I went and Googled, I go, oh my gosh, what did you find? I hope it
What
was
did
not
he
like
find?
I try to stay out of trouble. But yes, to answer your question, this will be a very different performance. Probably one of the hardest performances that I will have to face in my career because of what occurred this past weekend. And I'll just be honest, Adam,
Mhm.
at first I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this performance.
Wow.
I've known the president and the first lady and the family a long time. What occurred at the Pennsylvania rally was not only horrific on many fronts, but it's one thing to digest an assassination attempt on a US president, certainly on
Mhm.
a presidential candidate. But for me, it was digesting this attempt on someone who I call a friend. And that's a very different
Yeah.
emotion. Thinking about the father who was tragically killed, protecting his family, and all of the
Right.
beautiful patriots and citizens there who were just going to celebrate President Trump and America and like a regular outing rally, and it turned into this horrific moment that we will never ever forget. And so, to be honest, these last several days, I have really struggled processing what happened, approaching this moment on Thursday. How can I contribute and play a role in unifying the country? I know that is
Mhm.
something that is important to the president and will be a staple of the conversation that he will have in his acceptance speech on Thursday. I am in prayer for that moment and certainly wanting to contribute in a way that brings us all together and reminds us that we are Americans first. That's what we are. We're Americans first.
You grew up, of course, literally as the preacher's daughter. Tell me a little bit about how maybe that's influenced everything you're feeling at this very minute.
Well, I tell you, I am grateful that my background has that phrase, a preacher's daughter. I come from a line of preachers on both sides. My father's side, my father being a preacher, my mother's side, my mother being a music pastor. But we come from a lineage of preachers and pastors and those who have dedicated their lives to a profession of faith. And so I can tell you, Adam, I'm grateful for that foundation because it
Mhm.
has been an anchor for me, certainly these last several days coming from Saturday and certainly approaching this moment that I have been blessed to have.
You've talked already about how the president is going to deliver a different kind of speech Thursday night.
The attempted assassination of Donald Trump is changing everything he planned to say here at the RNC this week. Originally, he was really going to go after Joe Biden and his policies, but now he says he's essentially tearing his speech up and starting all over.
As we've all heard now, it has been rewritten.
Yes.
Now there's a new draft. I think all of America can't wait to see what that feels like from Donald Trump, which, as you said, is a person, a human being that's lucky to be alive and still with us. That has to create a different kind of connection between what you're going to do to help usher in that moment and the words from the president that will follow.
You're exactly right, Adam. And the president has said that publicly now the last several days about just his own personal reflection of what occurred and just the pure notion that he's alive, that I can only imagine the weight of that and certainly understanding the moment that he is in as he takes the
Hmm.
stage on Thursday. And so I actually am very grateful that the president was empowered to rip up the old speech and start fresh because the country needs that transparency. The country needs that authenticity in the context of his vulnerability right now.
Hmm.
And there is strength in that vulnerability. There is strength in that humanity. There is strength in and really sharing where we are and where we need to be and where we need to go forward as a country. And so I can't think of any better person than President Trump to give that type of authenticity, that type of strength and vulnerability. And I think the country is very interested to see and hear from a changed man because he is, and anyone would be, after experiencing something like that on Saturday. I think most importantly, Adam, I would say that the country is in desperate need of a voice that can unify us. And I believe that God has given President Trump an opportunity to do just that.
I can tell you without exaggeration that the audience ratings on Thursday night will be off the chart as
Yes, sir.
America, for the first time, hears from President Trump after a
Yeah,
life-threatening experience, maybe a life-giving experience as well.
yeah,
And I'm
yes,
urging everybody to tune in just a little bit earlier to hear you, because to really understand and grasp the power of the moment that the president is about to occupy center stage, I think they need to feel what that speech is all about, what the words are all about, and what the person is all about. And there can't be a greater apostle of that message than Mary Millben.
well, bless you, Adam. And I tell you, that's what the national anthem moment does. Yeah, thank you for your kind words. The anthem alone, the moment that we all share regularly in stadiums for sports or ceremonial moments like we will experience on Thursday, the national anthem moment itself is such a unifying moment because it really does. It takes
Mm.
all different people, different cultures, different faiths, different, zip codes, and those differences don't matter. The only thing that matters is the DNA that we share as children of God and the DNA that we share as Americans. And I'm grateful and humbled that I get to be a part of that moment and lead us in that moment Thursday.
As are we, Mary Millben. Stay safe, stay well, be at peace.
Thank you, Adam. Blessings to you.